Hello, welcome to this week's episode of Monday Biz Motivation with the Culver City Chamber. I'm Candance Simmons, owner of All That and More Boutique. I'm also a chair board member for the Culver City Chamber. I have the pleasure of hosting these weekly segments with Rafia Cooper, who's also a small business owner. She owns Rafia Jewelry. She's also an ambassador for the Culver City Chamber. The Culver City Chamber is a connector of resources, people, and ideas, and this platform was created to do just that. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Rafia as she introduces our guests.
Thank you, Candance.
You're welcome. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday, happy Easter, all of those things. And
Yes.
I'm glad to be back. We took a little break last week, so
Yes.
we're back on this week. And we have a wonderful guest today with us. So I just wanted to introduce her. Her name is Laura Smith from An Organized Project. And she's going to tell us a little bit. Hi, Laura. Welcome. So why don't you start off telling us what got you started in this business?
Sure. So I am a professional organizer, and the truth is I just started doing it about 11 years ago because I love organizing. I was helping people get ready to do their taxes. I was helping them to clean out their garages. And so I just started doing it. And after a few years, I thought I'd really like to create a business. So my business is now approaching 5 years in business on this project. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
That's great. So would you say that most of your business is residential or is it more commercial?
It's probably about 50-50. I do a lot of residential work, but I also do a lot of corporate offices and commercial work. And then there are business owners who have home offices. And of course, especially within the past year, we've had more of that. So it really is a cross. And then there's another aspect of the business where I help people we call it pre-move organizing and post-move organizing. So if someone is moving, I'll help them to declutter and clear out their house. And then once they move, we go in there and completely unpack and make sure everybody's settled into their new home and make the best, most efficient use of their space.
Okay.
So I had no idea until probably about 3 or 4 years ago that there was a whole entire association for organizers. And I had the pleasure of attending an event, and I was just blown away with, again, the association of organizers. So Laura, can you talk a little bit about that? It's because when I think of organization, I think, as you touched on, paper, I think clothing, I think shoes, of course, in the business that I'm in. But are there specific areas to organization? And also, can you talk about to hiring an organizer? And can you talk about the organization that does your certification?
Oh, of course. So the National Association of Productivity and Organizing Professionals, we exist. And I'm actually the president-elect of the Los Angeles chapter. So May 15th. So it's, we are an organization. It's a national organization of professional organizers. And it's kind of fun because it's sort of the way I say things is tasks that so many people hate to do, I love to do. So when I found this organization several years ago and I joined, it was like, oh my gosh, everybody's just like me. Around my people.
Right.
And a lot of organizers do have specialty niches. Some organizers only do closets, and some only do offices and only do financial organizing. I actually, I do residence and I do offices, and I enjoy doing moves also. I really like the variety because no two clients are ever the same. Every client has a different expectation. Every client is coming from a different place and has their own specific goals. So you can't measure one from the other.
But when you're moving, it's like the perfect time to reorganize,
Reorganize, yes. And that's when closets get opened and you open those drawers that you just every day stick little things inside of, and then you realize, oh my gosh, how did I accumulate so much? So it's a really nice feeling to clean out those drawers. I don't believe in junk drawers. Clients have utility drawers when I'm finished. And so they can see what they've got in there, and then hopefully, find ways to maintain that. Yeah.
How do you work with your clients? Because I think a lot of times we realize, okay, I'm not organized. I need an organizer, but there's that moment of shame of, I don't want anyone to see that how unorganized I am. And then when you get to a place where you're like, someone told me I need to do it, someone recommended me. How do you get that trust factor? How do you gain trust with your clients?
Well, the first thing I tell them is not to clean anything up for me. Don't try to, because if someone cleans up before I come over for a consultation, I can't really see what's going on and I can't help that client. Believe me, I've seen a lot and nothing surprises me, and I don't judge. And that's where it comes from. It comes from, there's no judgment. And like I said, every client, everyone has different living circumstances. And once they call me, they've made that choice. They know they want to make a change. And I've seen it happen over and over again where something that seems so overwhelming, once we get started with just one short session, we tackle things one step at a time, and it happens quickly. And what I mean is, some things, of course, some projects take longer than others, but you will see progress very quickly. And clients do that. And then once they see, they go, oh, it wasn't so bad. I can't believe I waited so long.
Right. Why did I wait so long? Exactly.
Yeah, behind that door, I was so scared to open it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. Have you ever had a situation where someone ambushed a client? It's happened to me. And what I mean by that is that someone will bring a sister or a family member to the boutique and say, they'll tell me in advance, oh, I'm bringing my sister. Wow. But they didn't tell the sister what they were bringing her to the boutique for. Have you ever had someone ambush someone into your services?
I've had them try, but it never goes very far. For example, someone will say, my sister needs you. You have to go see her. And I will say the first question is, does your sister want me? Because if that client isn't ready, it'll be a waste of, I can go in there and do a lot and make the place look fabulous. But if the client doesn't want me in there, it's going to be super traumatic for them, first and foremost. And then, it's really not a good use of money, because you're wasting, they'd be wasting it. So it usually, I stop that ambush before it happens. Because I'm going to the client, whereas for your business, they can come into you. So.
Right. Yeah. But I just have seen it where folks have talked about getting an organizer and like, I'm just going to send one over. And I'm like, that's not a good thing. Don't ambush them.
No, they have to want it. They have to want it. And sometimes it takes a little bit longer. Sometimes I receive a phone call and then 6 months later then we might start, because
it's a personal, it's a personal thing. Someone can't just do that for you.
Exactly. We had a hello from Barbara Bodie for you, Laura. And now we have a question from Stay Frosty Media. Okay. And the question is, what would be the easiest change someone could make to become more organized?
Oh, that's a great question. Well, and that could be so subjective. I think that you have to, again, make a small change. If there's a certain area that you want to declutter, set your alarm or set a timer for 15 minutes a day. That's it. 15 minutes, walk around with a trash bag, put some things in that bag, put it in the car, take it to the donation center. And that's 15 minutes a day, and you will notice a difference, and you will that particular area will start to get more organized. So it doesn't take long. If you have 10 minutes, do 10 minutes. If you have 30 minutes, do 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm. And what do you recommend for people that collect, since Candance and I are in the fashion industry, you can imagine the closets get cluttered pretty quickly, right? So what do you recommend for people to, you know, figure out what they really want to keep and have in their wardrobe and not have and get rid of or donate?
Well, there's a general rule of thumb that I tell my clients. If something new comes in, something old should go out. And that will avoid the buildup. As far as making the decision, it's truly, you know, if you wear that article of clothing and if it has a purpose, if it's serving you, then by all means keep it. And if it's something that's there and you feel like maybe it will serve someone else better, then don't be afraid to give it away. You know, if there's an emotional attachment to something, I'm not going to force anybody to give anything away, but, you know, really ask yourself, is it benefiting you? And what do you want more? Do you want that dress that's a really nice dress, but has been sitting in your closet or hanging in your closet? Or do you want your closet? So do you want to walk in your closet and see, oh my goodness, it's beautiful.
Right.
So do you have people that, like, you know, I know friends that have, like, you know, 500 shirts and, you know, 200 pairs of jeans. I mean, there's not enough days in the year to even wear one, you know, a day. Do you have clients like that?
I have some clients like that, and it's all relative because I have some clients like that, but their closet is also, you know, 600 or 700 square feet. So there's it becomes relative. But, you know, at the end of the day, again, it's, do you really, you know, what do you need? If you feel like those things, then keep them. And ask yourself, what do you want more? Do you want those things in your closet, or do you want your closet and do you want to be able to see what you do?
I think at that point, doesn't it become more like a collection? Like you're a collector of these things?
There are collections, yes. And for people who have collections, maybe you have a collection of t-shirts, and for a particular, they might be really important to you, but you don't really wear them. So let's get a container where we can, you know, condense and put the t-shirts in the container so it's not taking up that prime real estate, because there's a real estate section where you want to keep what you wear the most and what you do the most, use the most in those prime areas.
So do you tie this back into fashion? So do you have clients that have a closet that, you know, where their weight fluctuates? They have different different
I laugh because it's so common where people say, well, I'm going to lose 20 pounds and then I'll fit into them. And again, if you are on a path, okay, great. What's your plan to lose those 20 pounds? What are you doing differently today than you did yesterday? And then let's keep them. But really, if it's not is it realistically going to happen? And do you need all those? And if you lose those 20 pounds, you might want to go into All That and More Boutique and get something new. Right. So you can show yourself often, you know? So, but it is very common. And when that happens too, also, again, we can separate. Here's a section of, you know, size of size small. Here's a section of size medium. Here's a section of size large. What you're wearing right now shouldn't be taking up what you're not wearing right now can get, you know, packed away in some bins and tucked away, not taking up your prime real estate.
Excellent point. I like that. Yeah.
I know when I had attended the session that you guys had where it was the national organizers, there were so many great suggestions like you've given, but they talked a lot about the emotions that are tied to the pieces that we have, that we've accumulated. And, you know, in those situations, if you're working with someone where you realize, I don't have the space for it, you know, if putting it in a container, it's just going to be another container in the room. You know, have you had those situations where, and if so, how do you work with someone to release things?
You know, it's just a lot of conversation, and there's not one answer, but there's definitely a dialogue. I do establish a trust with my clients that I'm proud of, because I work hard to gain their trust and appreciate it. And, you know, it becomes a dialogue. When they're ready, they'll let it go. If they're not ready, I'm not going to force them, because they're going to turn around and just resent it and hate that. It doesn't usually happen though. Usually people, once they're working with me, they realize they have the emotional attachment, but they're working with me because they want to let go of it. So it's okay to let it go. You know, if something is really important to you because, let's say, somebody special in your life gave it to you, by giving that item away, you're not discounting the memory of that person or, you know, the meaning of that person to you. You're just getting rid of the material item. So when it comes to that, it's a little bit easier. But there is, you know, I certainly respect the emotion because it certainly exists. Yeah.
I know for me, I've gotten better at, you know, even like birthday cards and things like that, because, you know, once I've gotten the card, I've seen it, it's beautiful. Now I'm trying to figure out what to do with it. I've told my friends, hey, listen, for my birthday, just give me a hug. I don't need a card or anything like that, you know? And, you know, with the store, I do this, hey, come in and buy yourself something from my business on my birthday. And they've adjusted to that. But I've said, but hey, don't bring me a card, don't bring flowers or anything like that. But they still do, because some people have a connection to gifting certain things. So, you know, you kind of work through that process, but
it is a process.
Yes.
And greeting cards, you bring up birthday cards. That is a huge, huge item because people have boxes of cards from years and years and years, and they don't want to get rid of them, obviously, because they're meaningful and they know whoever sent them those cards put a lot of emotion and meaning into them. So, you know, I said, if you're not ready to get rid of them altogether, you can, one, make sure they're not in the envelopes, because the envelopes take up just as much space as the cards. And, you know, just keep the important, you can go through and keep some and get rid of others. And again, that's a process too.
Right.
Yeah, you can do like a scrapbook of them. And a lot of people take the cards and recycle them. They use, like, you know, parts of a card and make a new card, or, you know, make it into some sort of collage or art.
Yes. And you can also take a photograph in your phone now that we all have, you know, digital. And hey, now you have a card. Bring the file of the card, and you can discard of the card itself.
Yeah. We have another comment or a question.
Yes. Hey, Danny, thanks for watching. She says a studio apartment as a closet. I'm sorry, Rafia, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay. Danny says a studio apartment as a closet, definitely on the wait list. Danny, yay. So, Lori, in this pandemic, you know, we've lived through it a year now. So what were some of the things that you either had to learn or to do different in the pandemic?
Oh, well, you know, being that I couldn't work one-on-one with clients, I actually got certified as a virtual professional organizer. Yay. So now I can now help people anywhere get organized. So that was definitely something I did to kind of pivot and to be able to accommodate clients and to help clients. Clients would call me with questions, and they're not, you know, even though they work with me, they're not used to doing the organizing or any of these processes by themselves. So I can actually coach clients through virtually via Zoom or FaceTime. And that, you know, as a positive, my business grew. And now I can offer a service that I wasn't offering before COVID. You know, so I think of that as a plus.
So is that the virtual sessions, is it a series or is it a one-time? Are they packages that you offer?
Most virtual sessions, we usually do at least 4, and they're 1 hour long. So it's a nice cost-effective alternative too, because you're paying for 1 hour of my time per day rather than, you know, 4 or 8 hours. And but normally it takes, I would say, at least 4 to 8 sessions, just because we're going to give instructions, we're going to assess, we're going to create a process, and then the client's going to go ahead and execute. And then we have to come back, see how that worked, and then go on and go on. So depending on the size of the project, it takes a little bit longer than a day or two, but it's very, very effective for those clients who are willing to do the work.
I chuckle because in those settings, they can only show you what they want you to see. Like, okay.
Right here. Yeah, and that's happened. And then we'll be on and I'll see 3 boxes. I'll say, okay, can you do, spend 30 minutes on this box, 30 minutes here and 30 minutes here. And then we come back and there's a whole, so that wasn't good. But you know what? But that's actually a really good thing, because that means that they're supporting me and they're doing the work and it's working for them.
Right. And they're creating the processes and things like that. So that's great.
Right.
So
Yes.
what would you give as an advice to somebody that is trying to do all of this, but you can't help but get overwhelmed, and then they don't want to really continue? I found myself in this position recently, and even though I feel like I'm good with organization, I still just felt way over my head and way overwhelmed. So I had to, sit it out for a while. But what would your advice be?
So don't be afraid to call someone and ask for help. You can call, I have people call me all the time and I can give them some advice and it'll get them over that overwhelm. And again, it's often a lot of just take a step back, much like you said, Rafia. Take a step back. You don't have to do the whole basement in this afternoon. You can do one little part of it, and it will get done if you do things step by step. So once you sort of slow down, take a step back, you'll find you can move forward much faster.
That's a really good point, and my personality is I got to get it done.
I understand. For me, if it's not done yesterday, it's not done. However, it will get done once you have a plan in place. And it's kind of fun because you go, okay, I did this, and it makes you look forward to what the next step is. And it's part of it.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Have you had all these like container stores and places that help you with these kinds of storage bins and containers and stuff? Has that been like a big part of what you bring in with your clients?
Yes, it is. I probably maybe 50% of my clientele I'll be shopping for, and we'll get containers at the Container Store, or wherever the best container is. Sometimes Target, Bed Bath and Beyond, we shop. But I'm careful because you can just buy the container. You don't want to just buy the containers for the sake of having them there. You want to buy, we take measurements, and some clients really like clear containers because they can see. Some clients hate to see the clear containers, so we might get something more decorative and put a beautiful label on it. So it all depends again on the client. And the Container Store, of course, has been a super helpful place because we can just go and usually stock up, although I will say so many people have been organizing that stock has been an issue. But but we work with it. So it is a big part of the business. And I do provide shopping trips for my clients because I would rather do the trip, get them what they need, than have them run around town trying to get something where they might not know what they need. A lot of times a little extra, and then I just return what we would use. So that's part of the service that I provide.
It's great that we have these tools.
Yes.
As you mentioned, Lori, during the pandemic, supplies can be a little challenging because more people are organizing. What I've seen, because we do have a portion of the boutique that is for consignment, but during COVID, we haven't taken in anything on a consignment basis during COVID. But people call quite often and they just want to give me things. And I'm like, I don't need you to give me anything right now. Thank you. And I try and refer them to organizations where they are accepting things and they'll do it on a donation basis. So are there any organizations right now that you know of that are accepting things where people can do drop-offs or pickups because folks have cleaned up, they've organized, and now they've done some closet edits, they've done some edits in their home, and they're ready to release, but they have no place to take it to?
Yes. So it's been really nice that donation centers have recently opened since the pandemic. I donate to the Salvation Army quite often just because they do accept a variety. They'll accept household goods and they'll accept clothing donations. They'll accept books, so Salvation Army for sure. Habitat for Humanity is a great charity. And if you have household items, like, what am I trying to say? Not construction items, but like household materials, you know,
Right.
cabinets
You mean like
or
lanterns or chandeliers or things like
yes,
that?
yes, things that can be, you know, because they build houses and they can use those. So Habitat for Humanity, there's a restore on La Brea and just north of San Vicente, where
Yes.
you can drop off to.
Mm-hmm.
And the Vietnam Veterans Association also accepts items. They will do pickups too.
That's
And I
nice.
think Habitat recently started doing it again. Salvation Army still isn't picking up. But yeah, there are plenty of donation centers. And if anybody watching has questions about a specific item, feel free to reach out and I can tell you where probably the best place to go for that item would be.
Awesome. Yeah, I know the West LA College had West Side Wardrobe where they
Right.
accepted a lot of clothing, but again, I don't know if they're open now. So that's been part of the challenge during the pandemic, as the places being open to receive.
Well, the
Open
thrift
to
stores have been able to take the clothing, but it's the bigger furnishing items that nobody's taking right now. So,
right.
because I've been going through this myself lately, because I've had to clean out my mom's house.
Right.
Yeah, it's they're not taking the larger items. That was the hard thing.
No. And when they do, they're getting a little bit picky. You have to send pictures, and they might refuse the item if they come pick it up and they think it's not to their standard. So those are some challenges. But usually, if someone, you know, if one charity doesn't accept, we find another one who does.
Mm-hmm. We have a great group in Culver City and throughout on Facebook. It's called Buy Nothing, and it goes within neighborhoods, and so I utilize them a lot.
Yes, I highly recommend Buy Nothing, Sell Nothing. It's a local Facebook group, and I'm on it as well in my local area. So that's a great way to repurpose.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah,
Well,
I love that.
we are getting close to the half-hour mark, but Lori, is there anything that we didn't ask you that you'd like to share with our viewers in terms of organizing or hiring an organizer, where to start or how to get started?
The best thing to do is just call me. Either call me or email me. And my website is anorganizedproject.com. I think you should be able to see my email. It's laura@anorganizedproject.com. So yeah, feel free to reach out, even if you're not even sure what to ask. Just reach out, tell me what's going on, and I can guide you.
Nice. That's awesome.
Be happy to.
Like you said, it's taking that initiative and making that phone call.
It is making that phone call, and it just takes one little step at a time. Yeah.
It's awesome. And it's good to know that you're not going to say, get rid of this, get rid of that. Where are you keeping this? What's going on here?
What would you like?
Right.
What is your goal?
Yes, I think that's a big part of it too, is, working with a professional that, connects with you. So having that connection and being able to identify someone that you can build that trust with is really important.
So I have a question. Is everything in your house all organized from top to bottom?
You know what? For the most part, it really is.
Really?
It is.
Jealous.
So I have to keep it organized. Otherwise, it builds up. But I have my systems in place, because once I have my systems down and I follow them, then I'm in control and I can go out and help other people.
Awesome.
Exactly.
The system, I love the tip you gave for 15-minute increments, because sometimes just starting is a challenge. But when hey, I'm only going to do 15 minutes. I have a really close friend, and when I say, okay, this is what I'm going to do today, I'll send her a picture and I'll say, I'm going to spend 15 minutes doing this. And that's kind of like our check-in. And so it's like, okay, the clock is ticking now, and I know there's some accountability there, and I've already sent her the picture what it looked like before.
You better get moving. Yes.
Yeah, 15-minute increments.
That's all it takes. I mean, start there.
Exactly. Yes. Well, and also like something like my business, which I make jewelry and manufacture. And we have all these little tiny components. If we don't keep them organized, forget it, you know, or if you don't put it back after you use it where it goes, then it's money lost because you're just spending more time looking for it, you know.
That's a great point. Yes, put it back where it belongs, and then you save yourself the time later.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah. So the name of the show is Monday Biz Motivation. So we have to ask you this question, Lori. I keep saying Laura. What motivates you to do what you do?
I just love what I do. It does not feel like work to me. So I look forward to going to work. I knew I was doing the right thing when I looked forward to a Monday when I could go see a client, you know. I look forward to Mondays. I look forward to every day because I just love what I do.
That's awesome. The love of it all is what motivates you.
It really is.
Yes. So Rafia, we do these segments every week. So we always ask, what's your motivation for this week, Rafia?
It is so hard for me to come up with one today. I had a birthday yesterday, and so I'm kind of like still in that mode.
Yeah.
What?
Yes. I said, sounds like your motivation is to keep celebrating.
Yeah, so I kept, you know, trying to think of one today, and I really, I've got so much going on. So I think that, you know, in sticking with the theme of the show today of organization, I think I just need to keep organized and, you know, get through each step of everything that I've got going on for this week. There's a lot.
Yes. So yes, happy belated birthday, Rafia. Celebrate the whole month long.
It's hard to do that in a pandemic, but that has always been my motto, to celebrate the whole month long, you know. But yesterday I shared it with the bunny, and today it's a little different, but you know, it's all good. What's your motivation for this week?
So last week, since we were off, I took a more day. So a more day is a Monday off to recharge and to elevate. So that was great. I took the time off, relaxed, spent time. I went to a soda pop shop in Pasadena with all these amazing drinks and things of that nature. And this week, and even last week, just having that day off, I came back recharged, refocused, and it's been a long time since I really sat down and felt good about planning to celebrate something. So my motivation this week is I'm planning to celebrate our 11-year anniversary. I'm not going to spend so much time on how the folks are going to come in, but more of the what I'm bringing in to introduce, because every year that we celebrate, there's always some type of anniversary piece. And so this week I'll be working with Sensational Soaps to come up with a more scent that our Mornistas could have. I'll be working with a t-shirt company to come up with our 11-year commemorative t-shirt, and just working with other individuals because I want to have 11 items that I introduce for our 11-year anniversary, whether we'll be able to celebrate and have small groups in, or whether it has to be done virtually. This week, I'm focusing in on that celebration.
When is the 11th year end?
It's May 15th. But when you're working with manufacturers and everything, there's a whole process, as you know. So this week is the week to focus on getting things in line, giving them time to prepare it, doing all the things that they need to do so that those items will be in place by the end of the month.
I see. Okay. I was going to say, did it come back so fast? Because we were just in this 10-year last year.
Exactly.
I forgot when it was. It seems like I've lost track of time.
I know. And you made pieces to help us celebrate last time as well. So yeah, so that's my focus for this week, is to start those conversations, get those things together so that, you know, the Mornistas that want to come out and continue to celebrate with us will.
Well, and it will be here faster than you know it.
I know, exactly. Hey, Valerie, thanks for tuning in. Valerie is one of our new enrolled VIP members. She's a new Mornista that's in our monthly enrollment program. So thanks for joining us.
Wonderful. So do we want to go through our
events?
Our events for the
Yeah. Speaking of events, we have events here upcoming. So there's actually an event today. It's our bi-weekly COVID-19 business roundtable. It happens every other Monday. And today at 2:30, those of you that have businesses that are wondering what's happening at a state, city, and local level, please go to the Culver City Chamber page and register to attend. You'll be hearing from Colin Diaz, who's the president of the Culver City Chamber. You'll be hearing from various members from council, from the city, and you'll also be hearing from members of the city of Culver City. So it's a great place to come and ask questions. And there's some new reopening processes that we'll have to implement going forward, or new things that have happened over the weekend. So I'm excited to attend today.
Okay, and the next one is helping restaurants navigate California's clean energy transition. Thursday, April 15th, 2 to 3 p.m.
Yep. So register for that on the website as well. The Government Affairs Committee will be meeting this Tuesday, April 20th from 4 to 5. And this is a member-only event.
Next is our Coffee and Commerce on Wednesday, April 21st from 8:30 a.m. to 10 a.m., hosted jointly with the LAX Coastal Chamber. Well, maybe we will see you there, Laura.
Yes. Please come as our guest. I did talk to Laura offline and she was saying, hey, I've been really busy. And I'm like, busy during the pandemic is a good thing.
I look forward to being there. Yes, thank you.
Great. So the 54th Assembly District Candidate Meet and Greet is going to happen on Thursday, April 22nd from 3 to 5. So I think this will be a great time to come out and meet the candidates that are running for the 54th Assembly District. So register for that as well on our new website, culvercitychamber.com. There's some great new things out there. In addition to our calendar of events, there's also opportunities to be sponsored on the page as well. There's a new section where it's Eat, Shop, and Dine in Culver City. So various businesses that are in Culver City, they're listed out there by section, by category. So if you're looking for great places in Culver City to eat, shop, and dine local, go to our website. They're there.
Yes. And then
Discover Culver.
DiscoverCulver.com.
Thank you.
And as more restaurants open up, it's a great opportunity to learn more about that. That's great.
Yeah, there's a couple ambassadors that I hang out with, and we go on the weekends and we find local places. And even today we went to the Humble Potato.
Oh, wow.
And
did
had
you like it?
Yeah, we did. They have some interesting dishes. So I had the Three Little Pigs, which was tater tots and different pork
I saw
items.
that on the menu. I've looked at their menu, but we haven't gone in. So.
Yeah, there was a great burger that Jason had. And I forget what David had. It looked like it was a salad and something else, but there's some great places in Culver City. We encourage you to be intentional about supporting local businesses here in Culver City.
Absolutely. All right. So thank you for joining us, Laura, today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Yeah, and it's something that's so relatable to everyone. Everyone needs to be organized with something or another, even if it's a small space to a larger space. So we appreciate your insight and your answering all the questions and sharing with us your knowledge. And come back anytime and talk to us again.
I sure will.
And your information is going on the screen. So for those of you who are watching and want to get a hold of Laura, the information is there. You can contact her.
And you heard it from her here. Just call.
Just call. Just call. It's the first step.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Yes. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Thanks for the great questions.
Thank
Yes,
you, everybody.
thank you for watching. We'll see you next week with our new guest.